Hi, we are in chapter 1 now, and we are studying major and minor scales and major and minor key signatures. Right now we're studying the major scales and the major key signatures. So let's begin. We're in exercise 1-2A, and it says to notate the specified scales using accidentals, not key signatures. Show the placement of whole and half steps as in the example. Okay, so in the example, we have the C major scale, C to C, 1 octave, and we can see that they are all naturals. There are no sharps or flats in the key signature, and the order of steps goes like this: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 and half. So how do we tell where the half steps are? Well, let's take a look. And we have a breakdown here, and we see that on the piano keyboard, the naturally occurring half steps are between E and F and B and C. Okay, so if we were to go through the C major scale, C to D would be a whole step, D to E is a whole, E to F is a half step, F to G whole, G to A whole, A to B whole, and B to C is half. So we have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, so let's take a look. Number 1. Let's see. G major is the key, and we're in the tenor clef. Okay, here we have the alto clef. So what's cool about these is the way to find middle C, C4, is just to go to the middle line surrounded by this design here. So our C would be on the 4th line in tenor clef, and alto clef it would be on the 3rd line. Okay, so we have to build a G major scale, and we know that that is a C here on the 4th line. So basically a C resides on the 3rd space, right? F, A, C. So we're just moving it up 1 space or 1 line here. And so that would mean instead of the G starting on the 2nd line, it would start on the 2nd space. So to do a G major scale, let's just write in our notes. Okay, now it helps me to write in the notes here: G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so if we go by our whole step, half step rule, we can find out where the sharps belong. So G to A, whole step, A to B, whole, B to C, Remember here, B to C is a natural half step. And that's what we want here. We want whole, whole, half. So we're good there. C to D, whole. D to E, whole. E to F. Okay. E to F is a natural half step. But here we want a whole step. So we're going to want to go E to F sharp. Right? So there we go. We'll put our sharp there. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, E to F sharp. There's our whole step. Now our last one, we want the half step, F sharp to G, and that is a half step. Okay. And we check it here with our circle of fifths. Guide here, and we see that the key of G has one sharp. So we're good. Now, we have B major in the treble clef. Okay, so back to normal here. Let's start, well, we could start on the third line, right? But I think I'm going to start lower here, below middle C, to avoid too many ledger lines. So, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Okay, so those are all the naturals there. So we know B major has how many sharps? Well, we look here and we find B has 5 sharps. Okay, so we're going to need 5 sharps, and there's a couple ways we could do this. Now if you want to follow the whole step, half step rule, that'll work too. So B to C, we know that's a half step, right? Those are the natural half steps. Try and remember that. B to C and E to F, natural half steps. So our first step, we're going to want a whole, right? So B to C sharp. There's a whole. Now our next one, we're also going to want a whole step. So C to D, or C sharp to D, that would be a half step, right? So C, we're going to make that a D sharp. Now we got a whole step, whole step. D sharp to E. A half step, all right? And so we got whole, whole, half. Now we need 3 whole steps and then a half step at the end. So E to F. Remember? Naturally occurring half step? Yes. So we're going to want to sharp that F, right? Whole. F sharp to G is a half step. So let's sharp that. Whole. G sharp to A, of course, is a half step, but we want a whole. So let's do A sharp there. And A sharp to B is a half step. Okay. So let's count our sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's check B major, 5 sharps. So we're good to go. All right, one more. We have the E flat major. So let's start at E. We're in treble clef. It's always good to check your clef too. Well, let's put in our note heads here. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So we know this is in E flat major. So we've got to have an E flat there and here. So let's do our whole step and half step. E flat to F. We have E to F, half step. So E flat to F. That is a whole step. Okay? So we're good there. Whole. F to G. Whole. Right? G to A. Whole. We don't want a whole step here either. We want whole, whole, half. So let's make the A a flat as well. My bad, sorry if I confused you. So A flat now, we're on A flat. We want a whole step to B flat. Okay, so we got whole, 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 half, whole. We want another whole, and a half. So B flat to C. You know, B to C is a half step, so B flat to C would be a whole step. Good. C to D is a whole step, and D to E flat is a half step. So we have 1, 2, 3 flats. We check here the key of E flat major, 3 flats. Okay. Oh. Hopefully you can use these techniques and finish out filling out the rest of this section. And I will see you for part B. Thank you. Okay, so here we are in part B, and we have to identify these major key signatures. Okay, so the first one, the example, in C major, we have no sharps or flats in the key signature. So I'll do the odd ones, and you can do the evens. So we start out with number 1, 2 sharps. Okay. So if you haven't memorized your key signatures yet, you can refer to the handy guide here that I got out of the textbook. And look, so we have 1, 2 sharps. The major keys are on the outside, and the minor keys are on the inside. Okay, so 2 sharps, D major. There's another cool little trick with sharps. If you go to your last sharp, right, here's a C sharp. If you go up a half step from that, you'll find the root of your key, of your major key. This only works for major keys. So C sharp up to D is a half step, and you're in the key of D major. Okay, so number 3, we have 5 flats. So we can look here, And we go to our flat side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flats is the key of D flat major. Okay. D flat major. Now another trick with the flat keys. If you go to the second to the last flat, you'll find the root of your major key. Okay, so G flat is the last flat. You go to the second to the last one, and it is a D flat. Okay, so sharps, you go up a half step from the last sharp, and then with flats, you go back 1 flat from the last flat. So let's try it out with these next two. We have major key number 5 with 5 sharps. Okay, so let's just go to the last sharp, which is an A sharp. What is a half step above A sharp? That would be B natural, right? If you look here, here's A sharp. A half step above is B natural. Okay. So we are in the key of B major. 5 sharps, and we'll check our work here. And sure enough, 5 sharps is the key of B major. So this will help while you're memorizing them. Another good way to memorize them is to learn the scales on the piano. Okay, so let's try our trick again on number 7. This time we have 2, 4, 6, 7 flats. So everything is flatted. Now, if we go back from the last flat, 1 flat, we have F, A, C. See that? So our key is C flat major. So C major is all naturals, C flat major is all flats, and C sharp major is all sharps. Okay, so why don't we keep going and work on these key signatures in section C here. So with this, it's important when we're notating the key signatures, we have to know what order the sharps and flats go in, right? Oh, I pulled this off of the Toby Rush handout, and it's a cool little like we created a mnemonic device that works for this. So in the order of I'll go over that in a sec. First, when adding flats to a key signature, add them in this order. So we'd be going this way: B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So if you want to take the time, this is a good exercise, and I recommend writing them out in treble and bass. Okay, so if we go in the order B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Our flats line up nicely like that. Okay. up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth, down a fifth. Okay. So let's do the same thing in the bass. E, A, D, G, C, and F. Okay? So, those are our flats. Now with the sharps, it goes the opposite way. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay? So when adding sharps, we use the reverse of the order above. So let's do that here. F, C, G, B, A, E, and B. Okay? And in bass, F, C, G, D, A, E, and B. Okay. So the order of flats is B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And the order of sharps is reversed. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay? So you want to make sure when you're writing flats, if it's in a space, that it only occupies that space. And if it's on a line, you want to make sure that the line goes through that little bubble there. And with sharps, you want to make sure you can see the line going through the sharp if it's on a line. And if it's on a space, it should be open inside there. Okay? I like to draw mine a little sideways when I do my hashtag. It helps. It's really hard to draw one perfectly straight. So I've been working on these for a while. So you know, take your time and find your own you know, kind of what works for you. It's like your own signature, kind of. So, and it is at times, though, it's a key signature, right? So, now the mnemonic device is kind of fun. If you start with the F, okay, so Fat Charlie gets donuts after eating breakfast. Okay, now breakfast eating after donuts gets Charlie fat. Okay, so I don't know what we're going to do about Charlie. He might need to work on his diet a bit. You know, donuts after breakfast. Sounds great, but yeah, definitely pack on the pounds. So hopefully that little mnemonic device works for you. And it's kind of fun too. So there you go. A couple hints. It's always good to have some tricks up your sleeve when you're doing music theory. Now, so here we go. We are in A flat major. Okay. And if you don't already know how many flats are in the A flat major key signature, we look here. And we're on the flat side. And we go down to A flat. And we see that there are 4 flats. Okay, 4 flats. Great. Now where do we put them? Remember our mnemonic device. Okay. Breakfast eating after donuts. So we go B, E, A, D. Treble clef, B, E, A, D. All right. and we do our little trick and we check the second to the last flat, and it is an A flat. So we know we're right. That is A flat major. Okay. F major. Now there's really no trick to this one. You can go a fourth up from the F and find the B flat. Alright, just know that the key of F major, the key signature is 1 flat, and it's a B flat. Okay. Now, G flat major and bass clef. So, G flat major. So, we can look on here, and we see that G flat has 6 flats, and we go here, the order B, E, A, D, G, C, so we always go 1 more flat. That way we can go back to that one to find the key signature. So we start here, B, breakfast, eating, after, donuts, get, Charlie. Okay, we go to the second to the last flat, and it's a G flat. And a lot of flat keys today for me here. So, E flat major. Now, so E flat major. If we go B, E, A, right? Because we want to go 1 more. So when we go back to 1, we'll find it. So let's do bass clef again. B, E, A. We go back 1 flat. We're in the key of E flat. And let's check our circle of fifths chart. The key of E flat has 3 flats. Hopefully this is making sense to you, and hopefully I've given you some tools that you can use to find these keys. Just to recap, remember, go up a half step from the last sharp or back from the last flat. And remember the mnemonic device here for this, or just memorize that, either way. And you should be good to go. Okay, so I'll see you in the next section. Thanks. Hello, so we're back and we're in section D, and we must fill in the blanks. So sometimes we're given the key signature, and others we're not, and sometimes we're given the name of the key and other times we're not. So we have to figure that out. So number 1, D flat major. It's good to have your circle of fifths page handy for this exercise. So if we go to D flat, we have 5 flats. Okay, so that was pretty easy. I'll just put 5 and a little flat there. Okay. Now, 5 sharps. And we look here. 3, 4, 5 sharps. We have the key of B major. Okay. 2 flats. 1, 2 flats. Remember, our major keys are on the outside, minors are on the inside. So we have B flat major. Number 7. Name of key, C sharp major. How many sharps in C sharp? So we know C natural has 0 sharps and flats. So C sharp has 7 sharps. Everything is sharped. Okay. So we'll put 7 sharps there. And number 9, F major. Hopefully you've memorized this one. 1 flat. Alright. And we look here, 1 flat. Okay. One flat. 2 sharps. Okay. You look here, 1, 2 sharps, D major. Okay. And the last one, G flat major. And we go here, G flat has 6 flats. Okay. So there's kind of a cool thing where like everything is always going to equal 7. So if you know the key signature for G major is 1 sharp, then G flat would have 6 flats, and that equals 7. Like D major has 2 sharps, so D flat must have 5 flats. It always will equal 7. So that's another trick that you can use. Now, it'll only equal 7 because there's 7 notes in the scale, right? Okay, so now we're on section E, fill in the blanks, using the example as a model. So we have an incomplete matrix, and the first one is done for us. We're given the major key, the key signature, how many sharps or flats, the scale degree, and then the note that is on that scale degree. So a little extra step there. Now, so I will do the odd numbered ones, and you can do the evens. So the key of E major. E major has 4 sharps. Scale degree 3 is what note? Okay, so if we look here, we have E, whole step to F sharp, whole step to G sharp. 1, 2, there you go. 1, 2, 3, there's our third scale degree, and that is a G sharp. Okay. Number 3, we don't know what key it is or the key signature. We have to figure that out from what we're given. So, the 4th scale degree is an E flat. So, if we go down a perfect 4th from E flat, we find the B flat. Okay, so if we do our whole step, half step, we can find out the key. B flat to C, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. There's 2 flats, And that is the key of B flat major. Okay. G flat, B flat major. Number 5, we have to figure out the key. We're given the key signature, which is 3 sharps, and we need to find out what scale degree 2 is. So the key with 3 sharps. We look here, 1, 2, 3. We have A major. A major has 3 sharps. So, now what is the second scale degree in A major? Well, if we look here, whole step, boom, there it is. B is the second scale degree. Okay. So, that does it for this section. And I don't think that will be too hard for you. Keep in mind all the techniques we're using, and you might want to keep this nearby and a picture of the piano keyboard in case you don't have a piano handy. So, alright, I'll see you in the next section, and I believe we're going to be getting into the minor scales. Alright, so that should be fun. See you there. Bye. Hi, so we're back, and we're in exercise 1-3, part A, and we're going to be working with minor scales now. So it says to notate the specified scales using accidentals, not key signatures, and the melodic minor should be written both ascending and descending. Okay, so let's start with the B natural minor scale in the tenor clef. So in the tenor clef, we know that the C is on the 4th line now instead of the 3rd space. So everything is moved up. So first, let's just write out our notes. So we know the B will be here. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. Okay, so hopefully that's clear enough. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay, so now we need to find out the key signature for B minor. So let's go to our handout. And now we're looking inside the circle because the minor keys are on the inside and the majors are on the outside. So you can also tell the minors from the majors because they're lowercase. So the key of B minor has 2 sharps. Alright. But what sharps are they? Well, if we go to this handout, the order of sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, we use the first 2 sharps, F and C. Okay, so here's our C, and here's our F, because everything is moved up 1. So there we go. B natural minor scale. Now we move to the G melodic minor scale. Okay, so we have to do this one ascending and descending. So we're in bass clef. So let's just write in all the notes first, and we'll worry about the accidentals later. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then all the way back down. Okay, so now the first step would be to figure out what the key signature is for G natural minor. So we go here, and G natural minor has two flats, like its relative major, B flat. Okay, so two flats. And which flats are they? Well, we go here, and we can see that it would be B flat and E flat. Okay? So let's put in the B flat here. And for now, we'll do the E flat. Okay? So with the melodic minor scale, ascending, we want to raise the 6th and 7th scale degree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we can easily raise the E flat by making it a natural. Right, and the F we can raise by adding a sharp. Okay, so we have the ascending melodic minor, and now descending, we want to lower these back. So we would make the F a natural, and the E becomes a flat again. Okay, so that is the G melodic minor scale. Ascending raised and descending lowered. And let's get our B flat in there too, just to be safe. Okay, so our next scale, D harmonic minor. So we're in bass clef again. And let's just write out our note heads. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. Okay, so our next step is to find out how many sharps or flats are in the D minor scale. So D minor is relative to F major, which has one flat. And the first flat in our order of flats is the B, right? Okay, so let's flat the B. And then we have the natural minor scale. So with the harmonic minor scale, we want to raise the 7th scale degree, a half step, right? So the C will become a C sharp. And that will create the augmented second interval from B flat to C sharp. So there's D harmonic minor. Okay, so hopefully this helps you in filling out the rest of these scales. One trick might be with the D sharp melodic minor is to find out the relative major scale of that. All right, so I will see you in the next section. Thanks. Hi, so here we are in section B now, And we are to identify the type of each scale as major, natural minor, harmonic minor, or melodic minor. Any melodic minor scales will be shown in the ascending version only. Okay, so we start with number 1, and we have a G sharp. Okay, so we know there's no G sharp major scale, so I'm assuming that this will be minor. And if we look here, we can see that G sharp minor has 5 sharps and it's relative to B major. Okay, so we have a lot of sharps here. There's a double sharp though. That could indicate a raised 7th scale degree, maybe harmonic minor, or maybe melodic minor if the raised 6th and 7th are present. So let's take this to the staff paper and write out the scale. Now if we use the key signature for B major, that should fit, right, with G sharp minor. So there's 5 sharps, and we know if we go in the order, it's F, C, G, D, A. Okay, so I'm just going to write that out up here, because we're not to use the key signatures in this exercise. We're supposed to use accidentals, but this will help us. F, C, G, D, and A. Okay. Now, so let's do our notes. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so we have the ascending scale. Now, if we add our sharps from the key signature, we have F, C, G, D, and A sharp. Okay, so if we compare that to our scale in the book, I can see a couple of differences here, right? Now, so in scale degree 6, the 7. Here we see that scale degrees 6 and 7 are raised. So we have an E sharp. So the E becomes a sharp. And since the F is already sharped, it becomes a double sharp to create the G sharp melodic minor scale. Okay. So G sharp melodic minor. Okay. That was a tricky one, huh? Well, sometimes it helps to have staff paper and different tools to use to find out the answers to these. And it also helps to have a keyboard to play them. So let's try number 3. Looks like we're in alto clef here. So this would be our C, right, the middle line. So F, A, C. So we have an F sharp. Okay. So, see how many sharps we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's see the F sharp major and compare it with the minor. So the F sharp major has 6 sharps. So we know it can't be that. Now, the F sharp minor is relative to the A major, which has 3 sharps. So that's closer. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an extra sharp there. So the key with 3 sharps, A major, the sharps would be F, C, and G. So let's find those. And sometimes it helps, especially when you're in alto or tenor clef, to write out the notes. So you've got F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, E sharp, and then F sharp. So we know that there's 3 sharps in the F sharp natural minor scale, and they are F, G, and C. So F, G, and C. So here's scale degree 7. And we see that the E is raised a half a step. So we know that that is the harmonic minor scale because the 7th scale degree is raised. So we have the F sharp, harmonic minor. Okay? Now, our last one, we're in bass clef, and we're starting on an F, and let's see, so we have 2 flats. We know F major has 1 flat, right, the B flat. What about F minor? Well, F minor is relative to A flat major, so it has 4 flats. But we only see 2 flats here. Well, we know it's a minor scale because it has a lowered third, some type of minor scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our 6th scale degree and our 7th scale degree. Right? So it looks like the 6th and 7th scale degrees are raised. So that would mean that this is a melodic minor scale. So we have F melodic minor. Okay. So the natural minor the D flat, and the E flat would be present, right? If we go in the order of flats, B, E, A, D, okay, those would be the 4 flats. So we just take these two out, and maybe that helps it become a little clearer. Okay, so that's it for the scales, and I will see you in the next section. Thanks, bye. Okay, so here we are in part C, and we are to identify these minor key signatures. So sometimes it will help you if you know the major key signature to identify the minor. So let's see, we start with number 1. We have 1 flat. So hopefully you know by now that 1 flat is F major. And we look inside here, and the relative minor is D. Okay, so 1 flat is D minor. 2 sharps. Okay, so remember the trick for finding the major key signature when you have sharps is you go to the last sharp and you go up a half a step from there and you have your tonic. So we have a C sharp here. If we go up a half step, that would lead us to D. So that would be D major. Now if you want to find the relative minor of D major, you go down a minor third, and that would lead us to B. So this is the B minor scale. And to check that, we look here, 2 sharps, B minor. Okay, so that's a good trick to know. Sometimes it can get tricky, and I know you're probably not that familiar with intervals yet, because that's coming up in the next part of chapter 1. So, but it's good to know. So number 5, we have 5 sharps. A sharp is the last sharp. We go up a half step from there, that's B major. We go a minor third down from B. That would lead us to the G sharp. A minor third down or a major 6th up. Okay. So we have G sharp minor, and we'll check that. And we see 5 sharps is G sharp minor relative to B. Alright, so the last one here, we have 7 sharps. Okay, so B sharp would lead us to C sharp. So it'd be C sharp major. A minor third below C sharp would be A sharp. Alright, so here's your third. Yes. You're either going from line to line or space to space. You just have to be careful if there's a sharp or a flat in that line or space. So, and we'll check here. And we see 7 sharps, A sharp minor relative to C sharp major. Hopefully you can use that little trick. And here we go with part D. Now we need to notate the specified minor key signatures. So our first one, E flat minor. Now the same works in the opposite way. If we go up a minor third from E flat, we would end up on the G flat. So G flat major would be the relative major key. And to find out how many flats it has in it, we just go one further than our note, right? B, E, A, D, G, C. So we have 6 flats. And we're in bass clef. B, E, A, D, G, and C. Okay, so let's check that. Six flats, E flat minor relative to G flat major. Okay. Now we have G minor in bass clef. So we go up a minor third from G, G, A, B flat, and B flat major is our relative major key. And we see here that it has 2 flats, G minor and B flat major, 2 flats. We go in the order of flats, B, E, right? Breakfast, eating, all right? Okay, so now we have E minor in bass clef. So a minor third up from E is G, and the G major scale has 1 sharp, right? So its relative E minor also has 1 sharp. And in the order of sharps, we start out with the F sharp. Bass clef, so there it goes there. E minor. Now D sharp minor. So a major third up from D sharp is F sharp. So the F sharp major scale is relative to D sharp minor, and we see that there are 6 sharps in both. So we do 6 sharps in the order of sharps F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay, so let's do our 6 sharps. In bass clef, F, C, G, D, A, E. Okay, there's our 6 sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E. Okay, so, and if you go up E sharp, a half step up from E sharp would be F sharp, and that is the relative minor, the relative major to D sharp minor. Okay, I'm just trying to get you to see how these relatives connect. It will really help with your understanding of it, and it's easier to memorize too. So, okay. Our next section will be to fill in the blanks. All right. And we have 2 categories, the key signature and the name of key. And we have to give one or the other. So the first one is done for us. 3 sharps, F sharp minor. That's correct, because it's relative to A major, which also has 3 sharps. So here we go. C sharp minor. What is the key signature? Okay, so we look here on our chart. C sharp minor has 4 sharps, like its relative E major. So 4 sharps. Okay. A minor. Now, hopefully you know this one. If you go a minor third up from A, we land on C. And the C has 0 sharps or flats, just like its relative A minor. Okay. Zero. I guess I should put 0 sharps, 0 flats. Okay, how's that? Okay, number 7. 7 sharps. So everything is sharped. All right. So we know the major key where everything is sharped is C major, because C sharp major, because C major has no sharps or flats. C flat major has 7 flats. C sharp major has 7 sharps. So we need to find the relative of C sharp major. If we go down a minor third, we land on the A sharp. And let's check that. And here we have the A sharp minor, 7 sharps, relative to C sharp major. Okay. Now, number 9. 2 sharps. Okay. So, you might already know that D major has 2 sharps. So its relative would be B minor. Okay. Number 11, E minor. Okay. Let's see. So if we go up a minor third from E, F sharp, G, we would land on the G, and that would be the relative major, which has 1 sharp, E minor, G major. And the last one, C minor. So, a minor third up from C, C, D, E flat, would land on E flat major. E flat major has 3 flats, and its relative C minor also has 3 flats. And we are done with this section. So thank you for participating with me, and I hope this is helpful. And I may do a little extra section here just to show you some scales on the keyboard. So look forward to that, and I'll see you there. Bye now. Okay, so let's talk about scales real quick and listen to some of them. So let's start in the key of C. With C major, we have no sharps or flats, and we follow the whole step, half step pattern. We have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. No sharps or flats. Now, if If we go up a fifth from there and build a scale, our next major scale would be G major. And we'll sharp the 7th note. Okay? Now, notice we sharp the 7th, but all the rest of the notes stayed the same. So if we keep that F sharp and we go up a fifth to the D sharp, to the D, or down a fourth, right? And we sharp the 7th, we keep that F sharp and sharp the 7th. You have two sharps now. A fifth up, A. We have the C and the F sharp, and we sharp the 7th. And we have the A major. So it goes on like that. And that's a good way to memorize these patterns and scales. And so with the flats, it's a little different. If you start on C, you have no sharps or flats. Now if you go either up a fourth or down a fifth, and you flat the 4th scale degree, you'll have F major. So we go down a fifth from F, we have the B flat. So we'll keep that, and we'll flat the 4th scale degree, and we have two flats. So you're always flatting the 4th. So now if we go back up B flat, down a fifth to E flat, we're going to keep the E flat and the B flat. And which one are we going to flat? The 4th, right? So we're adding a flat every time, and we're always flatting the 4th. So with major scales, you add a sharp every time, and you always sharp the 7th. With flats, you add a flat every time, and you sharp the 4th. You flat the 4th. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Now let's look at C major again. Okay, so the minor scale has a lowered 3rd, a lowered 6th, and a lowered 7th scale degree. So C minor has 3 flats, like its relative major. And to find that, we go up a minor 3rd. So 1, 2, 3 half steps. So the relative, there's E flat major. Okay? Down a minor 3rd. C minor. So C major and C minor are parallel keys. Okay, not relative, these are parallel, because they have the same tonic, C, right? But a different key signature. Okay, C major, no sharps or flats. C minor, same tonic, has 3 flats. So same tonic, different key signatures. Those are parallel. Now, find the relative. Let's start with C major. Now, we can go up a major 6th to A, or down a minor 3rd to A. Okay? So there's always an inversion to your intervals. Major intervals become minor intervals. Minor intervals invert to major, and so on. So there's a major sixth and a minor third. So back to C major. If we play the same notes and start from A, we have the A natural minor. So you can see the relative has a different tonic, but the same key signature. C major, we start on C. No sharps and flats. Now, with A minor, we start on the A, a different tonic, but we use the same key signature. So that's the difference between parallel and relative keys. Now, with the minor scales, let's go back to C. We have C natural minor. Now, the harmonic minor has a raised 7th scale degree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want to raise that a half a step to the B. That leading tone creates a strong pull back home. So here it is, the C harmonic minor scale. Kind of cool, has an exotic sound, right? So now let's try the melodic minor. So remember, the melodic minor has a raised 6th and 7th scale degree. So 6 and 7 are now going to be raised up half steps, right? So this is the ascending, and this is the descending. We go back to the natural minor. Okay, so here's melodic again. Okay, so hopefully that clears up a little bit on the scales, and I'm glad you got to hear them, because that's the best part. And hopefully I didn't confuse you. I know it's a lot, so I would encourage you to get on the piano and try some of these scales out for yourself, even if it's not your main instrument, because it's so easy to see the way it's laid out. And then if you'd like, take it to your own instrument, and whatever that may be, and practice them there. So thanks for joining me again, and I will see you in the next section. Hang in there, you're doing great. Bye now.